Do you know that Hawkeye's melee attack deflects projectiles? Do you know that Groot's walls attack the enemy and heal him and his team respectively? Do you even know how Wolverine's passive works? Do you know that if you dash up the wall, you can rocket boost up as Rocket? Do you know that Venom has a fat ass? Do you know that Adam Warlock's ult is based on where he is and not where the ult is casted? So look, not revive, revive. Do you know that Spiderman can bunny hop? Do you know that Loki can out teammates? I mean, it says it right there, but like sometimes people miss that. Did you know you can animation cancel Star-Lord's out? It's really hard to pull off and also really inconsistent. Did you know that Punisher can do a rocket jump with his right click?
Smoke up.
You know Winter Soldier can turn people while hooking.
Come back here.
You don't turn them all the way, but it's enough to turn them so that you can shift them into your team. Did you know that Rocket's dispensary gives armor packs, but it also gives rocket boots? This one. This means that you can actually combo it with a lot of ultimates, like Scarlet Witch's ultimate, where you can press Q and then you can kind of jump into the air. Do you know that under your settings, you can actually change your communication wheel to 8 sections instead of 4? You can also change it so that you can thank your teammates. Do you know that most melee characters' melee attack is the same as their primary fire, except for magic?
See my brother?
Which means her new name is Riven. Did you know this yellow bar around Jeff's HP means that he's immune to crowd control? You'll see this on other people like Punisher's turret. If you out the enemies on the Groot's wall, the walls will touch them. This is a pretty basic tip, but I don't see a lot of Groots doing this. Did you know you can actually go into the settings and turn on allied health bars? And this will help you know if your allies are being doved by the enemies. By default, only strategists have it on. You can block choke points and spawn points with Doctor Strange, especially if there are only 2 spawn doors and the enemy can't really do anything about it. Did you know Mantis' sleep can be destroyed? Did you know Star-Lord's ult actually has iframes, which means you can do this? Did you know regardless of what role you play, before the game starts you can switch to Rocket Raccoon and throw out his dispensary, and anything that the allies pick up will persist even after you switch off of Rocket? Did you know there's actually a setting for Loki to double confirm his ultimate?
Your powers are mine!
Under Loki's specific settings, double confirmation for God of Mischief. This means that you no longer have to out the wrong person. Do you know Loki heals a bit when he's invisible? He can also swap places and place clones when he's invisible without breaking out of stealth. So don't get fooled by that. Missing Jeff's out causes him to pout. And when he pouts, he's actually vulnerable for a few seconds. Hulk can actually cling onto walls. I mean, y'all should know this, right? Great for targeting flying enemies. Hawkeye only does a huge amount of damage when his passive fully charges.
We got company.
But when he outs,
I never miss.
his passive charges immediately. There's actually a aim training range in the practice range.
It's too easy when you never miss.
When playing Groot, the Iron Wood Wall heals Groot when you or your team does damage around it. This means that you don't actually want to block the enemies using this wall. Instead, you want to hide it in a corner and use your other walls instead. This would mean that Groot is constantly healing as the team is doing damage. Did you know, if you're trying to learn Hulk or any of the heroes that has multiple forms, you can actually just scroll on the F1 page and you can see the other abilities.
I'm guessing those are the bad guys.
For melee heroes, there's actually an indicator to show that you are in attack range. I'm gonna inch closer and look at the bot. See how it lights up red? If it's red, it means that it's in your melee attack range. So look, move away. Very subtle, but it might help from time to time. The indicator only shows up for melee characters though. Look at this. doesn't show up for Loki. If you're trying to learn magic, you realize she's a bit hard to pick up. You have to hit her E to perform consistently in most cases, which is her dash. So if you realize, in order to dash successfully, you need to aim to the right of the person because the dash depends on magic's position and not the cursor's position. Cloak has a surprisingly fast melee attack speed compared to Loki. Did you know that there are free skins that you can get from achievements? So under Heroic Journey, you can get a Storm skin and you can get a Star-Lord skin. All you have to do is play the different characters and you'll probably get it over time. Did you know, if you or your teammate pings an enemy and you see a broken heart shape, it means that the enemy is low on health. Did you know, Winter Soldier can hook more than one enemy? While playing against magic, you can actually see her charge her right click. This is important because look how much damage her right click does. Dodging this is very important to surviving. So did you know, on the Marvel Rivals official website, you can actually see all the damage numbers and healing numbers of all the enemies. In the next video, I'll be comparing all the out numbers to see which ultimates can survive which ultimates. So follow the support. Did you know Punisher's turret actually does explosive damage? Did you know Cloak and Dagger's primary healing actually can heal herself? So it heals in an area around the ally. So you can see the circle on the ground. That's why cloaks have so much healing, by the way. If Adam Warlock sustains damage that will kill him during his Soulborn, he will instead break the link and then he'll be left at 1 HP. This is only the case if the ally gets hit and not Adam Warlock himself.
Requires some aid.
It was quite funny in the last video that not a lot of y'all knew that Cloak and Dagger heals in a radius. But did you know that this works when the ally is full health as well? Also, Cloak can fly during his invulnerability. The Doctor Strange team up with Hulk not only increases the damage of his Maelstrom of Madness, it actually also prevents the anti-heal. Do you know, on Stellar Spaceport, which is this map, there's actually a second door that connects to the main hall much quicker.
All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
See? Okay, actually maybe it's not that different. Did you know there's actually a way to tell when Wolverine is rage? At 100 rage, his hair grows out. Have you ever queued into a game and realized, ah shit, I don't know what I'm supposed to play for the mission? Well, you can actually check your missions in the escape menu, dailies, missions and events. As Cloak and Dagger, you can actually fly up before using your ult, and this way you can avoid any counterplay like Magneto out, Penny Mine, things like that. The ultimate will affect the ground beneath you. Did you know, using ultimates as Loki will extend the duration of the ult? This gets quite hilarious when you ult Bruce Banner because you get to extend the duration twice. Did you know Penny's web heals her and gives her a movement boost? The healing doesn't stack though.
They don't look friendly.
The webs also hide mines. Luna Snow's ultimate
I am ready to put on a show.
affected by line of sight. Black Widow combos her ult pretty well with Hawkeye's team up
Plasma for the win.
because the ult hits every single clone and hopefully the original person as well. So you can imagine this being used when everyone's clumped up. Namor's ult prevents movement abilities. I don't know if people don't know this. When you die, you can actually see the ult charge from the enemy that killed you, although you should really kinda know it by heart at this point. Did you know, Star-Lord's E does more damage if there are multiple people in line? What it seems to do is, when you press E, it draws a line from Star-Lord to every single enemy and fires bullets. This means that the first enemy can actually block the projectiles of everyone behind. This is probably too situational to be used in game, but I don't know, you never know. Did you know the payload heals you if you're on the attacking side? It doesn't heal you on the defending side though. Did you know you can actually place 2 group walls in a row by dragging? This works in any direction. If you haven't realized, there are different ultimate lines for enemies and for people on your team. The only exception is you. you will always say the enemy outline because it usually sounds cooler and louder. As an ex-Overwatch player, I didn't think that this was unintuitive because in Overwatch, the enemies use their ultimates in their native language and your team uses their ultimates in English. So it's very easy to differentiate. But in this game, you kind of have to learn both. Did you know? Loki's and his clones always drop their regeneration domain to the left of them. This means that if you ever need a second regeneration domain, you can have a clone on the ceiling drop their domain to you. Did you know? If you find yourself missing ultimate voice lines, you can go to the audio settings and turn on voice over subtitles. But be careful, because Marvel Rivals already has a huge amount of things going on, and this just adds one more to the list. But this helps if you like to play on low audio or without headphones, especially for ally ultimates like Cloak's ultimate, which sounds quite soft sometimes. Did you know? Certain characters have an advantage fighting in small rooms. Winter Soldier's ult usually takes a pretty long time to charge,
Dangerous!
but if you have a low ceiling, you can launch it almost immediately.
Dangerous!
This also greatly increases the DPS of Mr. Fantastic's ultimate, although it's kind of hard to pull off. Did you know? If the payload is outside Invisible Woman's ult, the heroes inside are treated as invisible and they cannot contest the payload. This happened to me in ranked yesterday. Invisible Woman's ult moves when the point moves as well, although maybe that's a bug. I don't know. There's an audio setting to give you a prompt when allies or enemies die. I really wish I covered this in my settings video. This setting is really important to give you an audio cue so that you know when to back up or when to push. I'll be posting a new settings video soon, so follow for that. Somehow, not many people know how Rocket's healing works. The balls from Rocket slow down if they're healing someone, and you can see the first ball is healing the ally, while the second ball is going straight. This means that Rocket's healing applies sort of like a heal over time effect, similar to Mantis, and multiple balls cannot heal the same person at once. This means that you should be weaving attacks in between your heals or covering as much area as you can with your healing balls. Did you know Groot's wall deletes deployables like Penny's Nest? But based on my testing here, it seems like she gets the cooldown back, which is a bit strange. Did you know there's sort of a new tech with the web slingers? If you sling directly into a wall, it kinda launches you upwards and to the right. This allows you to do really quick engages. It works with Spiderman as well, but the momentum is so crazy that you might want to cancel it with a jump. Everyone knows that Invisible Woman's primary fire comes back to her. This means that there's 2 damage intervals. However, if you aim at the character's feet, both damage procs basically instantly. This means that you can actually combo it together with all your abilities for a huge burst if the enemy is right in front of you or trying to dive you. The purpose of aiming at their feet is to guarantee that both procs of the attack were hit basically simultaneously, leaving them no room to dodge your attack. Did you know? Although Winter Soldier can walk around the character while he hooks, there's actually a really small window where you can push the person backwards without walking around them. I haven't been able to consistently do it yet. The timing that I'm using is I start moving my mouse, and as I start moving my mouse, I hit the shift key. But as you can see, it's still not perfect. So someone discovered that Penny's Nest can actually go up to the 2nd floor. It works! This only works when there's a low ceiling. So you can see the web is kind of touching the 2nd level here. And because webs don't need to overlap in order to connect, that's how you get this effect. I believe there's a YouTuber by the name of Cringe Alarm that's figuring this tech out. Did you know Spider-Man's spider tracker tracks the real Loki, even changing directions mid-air? Why? Jeff and the Thing can both delay their ultimates by ulting onto a slippery surface. The roof on this map is the most commonly used one. This is mainly used to catch your enemy off guard so they think that you ulted somewhere else. Punisher reloads his gun after about 3 seconds, so you can avoid the shotgun's long reload time by switching back to your original rifle. Dagger reloads instantly after changing to Cloak. Hawkeye reloads his bomb arrows naturally after about 3 seconds, but Black Widow does not cock her gun if you change to her batons right after shooting. The Thing slows down while charging up his punch, so you can avoid this by simply just jumping before you punch. Adam Warlock shows you who he'll revive at the bottom right. I don't know why, but I never paid attention to this before. Did you know Doctor Strange can look behind while holding out his shield? Just hold alternate. This is useful for making sure that your team is still behind you, particularly your healers, without having to drop your shield. I tried looking for the button to press on controller, but I didn't find any after quite a long time. So let me know in the comments if you find it. Penny can hide mines while her right shoulder is close to the wall. This is because the mines eject from her right shoulder, so if you flush her right shoulder against the wall, it kinda like sticks it inside. Did you know? Captain America's shield finds invisible targets. Also, his shield bash gives him CC immunity, but the game doesn't really tell you that. Doctor Strange's portal cooldown is team-wide, meaning if you use your portal and your teammate switches to Doctor Strange, his portal will still be on cooldown. I couldn't get footage of this in an actual game, but it has happened to me before, so I know it's correct.